Hey YouTube, and this is the Warlord Shogun, and today I will be doing a starter Pokemon tier list maker. Uh, I really enjoyed making the game tier list that I did before. It's on my channel if you will go into my videos and look at it. It's going to be the most recent one before this one probably. And so this time I thought it would be cool to do the starters. This one I did very recently, and I've thought about it a good deal. And the way I approached this one was different than the games. Basically, I started with looking at them based on what they looked like and which one appealed to me the most. But then I also rated them based on if I would choose one or over the other. So that's how I'm gonna do it here. I've already made a tier list, and now I'm gonna give it to you guys and present my reasoning for why I think it is this way. So this one has a double S tier and goes all the way down to F. So this one's a little more spread out, which I actually like in this case because I can nitpick a little bit more. I'm not going to put the Generation 8 starters on it because those are unrevealed. I have no experience with those. I could only rate them based on their designs, and I don't know if I can rate Generation 8 Pokemon above anything else because I haven't experienced it yet. I've only seen them. Anyway, so double S tier, Charizard. Easy. I don't have to justify that. It's Charizard. He was my first Pokemon ever, and that's it. There's nothing else that has to be said. Next is Typhlosion. I really, really, really like Typhlosion. I've grown to like Typhlosion because of the trading card game. There was a Typhlosion card in the Breakthrough set that had an attack called Massive Eruption. I have a full foiled max rarity Typhlosion deck that includes energies and everything. I spent hundreds of dollars on it. It's not even a top tier deck, it's just my favorite. And that's how much I love him. I think Typhlosion is amazing. I have a plush of Typhlosion on my left right here and a Cyndaquil plush. And I take them with me when I go to regional tournaments for the trading card game. I absolutely love Typhlosion. So that's why I put him here, because I love him. I think his design is cool in a basic way. I know a lot of people like Quilava more, but and some people like Shofu think that Typhlosion's like 3D design is trash, and that's why he rates it lower. But I think Typhlosion is worthy of double S tier. Next is Decidueye. I think his design is amazing. I was so excited when this got leaked or whatever, and I hoped against hope that Decidueye was gonna be uh, that this design was gonna make it, and I'm so glad that it did. I love it to death. He's awesome in Pokken. It's a really solid Pokemon. I love him a lot. Plus Rowlet's amazing. I have a plush of Rowlet in my room. Rowlet is amazing. Alright, and that's all I really have to say about Decidueye. I just wish that he was a little bit stronger in the game, is the only thing I was going to say. Next is Infernape, because he's Infernape. He's awesome. I love him so much. He's really, really strong in Diamond and Pearl. He wasn't my first choice. When I started playing, I chose Piplup first, but then after, when I got Platinum and I chose Chimchar, I'm so glad that I did. Infernape is awesome, and in the anime, he's amazing. Next is Serperior, and this is the last double S Pokemon that I will put. Serperior is more for design over everything else because all he is he's fast. He hits okay. He's not the greatest. He definitely can't one-shot anything, but I mean his design is really why I put him in double S. I really, really, really like Serperior, and this the whole Snivy line. I love it to death. And he was my first choice for Black and White, and I chose him again in Black 2 and White 2, but that's mostly because I don't really like any of the other Gen 5 Pokemon. Actually, I really don't like the other Gen 5 Pokemon, but we'll get to that. Moving on to S tier, Empoleon. That's easy. That's free. Empoleon's amazing. He's really cool. I love him to death. He was my third starter. Yeah, third starter that I ever chose because I chose Charmander in Fire Red, and then I went to Emerald for my second game where I chose Trico. Um, Anyway, Empoleon is awesome, and you know the typing is amazing. I love Empoleon. In the anime, he's really cool. I think he's Barry's main Pokemon. Anyway, next is Swampert. It's my favorite Generation 3 starter. Swampert is amazing. It didn't used to be. It used to be Sceptile, which is my next one, because I chose Trico first. I've chosen Trico more times than I've chosen any of the other starters, but Swampert is my favorite. I just really, really enjoy Sceptile and how he plays through the game as well. Next is Torterra, more Gen 4 pandering. I have all four of the Gen 4 starters at S and double S, but I genuinely think Torterra is amazing. Torterra is my brother's favorite Sinnoh starter and my friend David's. Uh, Torterra is my friend David's favorite starter. Blah. I keep losing my train of thought and how I was gonna word my sentences. I should calm down. But I just love Pokemon that much. I get excited. Haha. And that's all I have for S tier. And again, look at what I have left. I decided to kind of space it out and not just be like everything is double S and then the rest is trash. Like I actually, can spread it out a little bit. A tier, we start with Blaziken, because Blaziken is amazing. I don't think I really have to justify that one. Blaziken is like the strongest, most aggressive starter for Generation 3. He gets an awesome Mega in the Generation 6 games, which is one of like the only Megas that I actually kind of liked for Gen 6. Um, and he's just Blaziken. I don't know what else to say about him. Next is Blastoise, because Blastoise is awesome. My favorite rival is Blue, and since I chose Charizard, he had Blastoise, so it's kind of a nostalgia thing. Blue in the Generations short clips is amazing. The one where Blue goes against the Elite Four is my favorite Generations clip. I think it's amazing. And that's really all I have to say about Blastoise. Feraligatr is next because Totodile was my first choice for starters when I played Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and when I played Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And I basically beat the whole game with just the Totodile, so who eventually became Feraligatr, of course. So Feraligatr has a special place in my heart for the tier list. He's special to me because he soloed Lance for me with his Ice Fang in Heart Gold, and that was rough. Like I wasn't really appropriate level yet, so that was a struggle. That was a legendary battle. Next is Venusaur, because I really really like Venusaur. He's not as good as all the other Kanto starters in my opinion, but I still really really like him. And in like the trading card game, I've really enjoyed playing Venusaur because I played Celebi Venusaur for a brief period, and I really really enjoyed that. And I love Venusaur's design. His Mega was kind of lazy, but I enjoyed Venusaur. And then the last Pokemon on A tier is Incineroar, purely because when I got Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I didn't want to choose Rowlet again because I didn't really have a great experience with that. I had Decidueye on my team the whole time, but he was not anywhere close to my strongest Pokemon because Decidueye is just a very weak Pokemon in the games, and Incineroar was such a great change when I chose him. He felt like really powerful and like a really good partner to have. He was very strong. He's even competitively viable, and he's still chosen to be on teams against legendary Pokemon. So he's actually a very very strong Pokemon. But I also have an opinion that starters shouldn't really be that powerful. They're just starters. They're not supposed to be the strongest Pokemon, because if you got the strongest Pokemon right off the bat, then something is kind of wrong. But I still love Incineroar, and he's here. And on that same point, Greninja is B tier, and he's the only Pokemon I've put on B tier. I don't really like. Let me rephrase this. I hate Generation 6. I think it's horrible. You can watch my Pokemon Generation tier list for my reasoning on that. I rant for like 12 minutes on just Generation 6. I had more to say on it, but I don't script anything. I just kind of go for it and say what I want to say. because if I script everything, it's like, I don't know. It feels a little too professional, and I'm more of like a casual kind of streamer and video maker. And I think it's more like relatable. I like to talk to people like they're on the other side of a table from me. And I don't want to be scripted like that. It feels like an interview or even an interrogation if I have a script. So, anyway, Greninja is B tier because I hate Generation 6 and because Greninja is too strong. You could go through like the whole game with just Greninja. His ability Protean, you probably don't have that in your playthrough, but just because he has it, it makes him overpowered. Um, and the Ash Greninja thing is completely busted. He totally didn't need that. That should have just stayed in the anime. Uh, I, I just don't really have all that much else to say besides I kind of really hate this Pokemon, and but I slapped him in the middle of the road for B tier because if you look at the tier list, B is actually right in the middle. So that's where I put Greninja. I think that's as high as he could go. I could put him lower, but I didn't want to put him on the same level as some of these other ones. So next up is Primarina. It's a C purely on design. Um, I'm not really a fan of Primarina because a lot of Pokemon are designed kind of like gender neutral. The only ones that aren't are like Gardevoir, which me and my brother made fun of back in the day for having male Gardevoirs. We're like, it's a trap. But in Primarina, it's the same way. It's like it's clearly, a feminine in design, but Primarina can also be male. And I think that if you're gonna design a Pokemon to be masculine or feminine, then you also need to follow up and make it like a gender exclusive. Like Primarina can only be a female. Now I know there's like mermans and whatever, but they didn't design Primarina with that in mind. Primarina in terms of power is really solid. I chose Primarina when I played through Ultra Moon after I had already played Sun and Ultra Sun, and I really enjoyed that playthrough. I think Primarina is a solid starter choice, but like it's not any higher than C tier for me, and I wouldn't put it any lower either. And that's all I have to say. Meganium is also C tier for like the exact same reasons that Primarina is. Meganium is a solid choice for starters in the Johto games, either Gold, Silver, Crystal, or the remakes. But Meganium is, the worst choice of the three. Um, it's not like a bad choice to choose Chikorita, but it's so clearly the worst choice that it's just in your face how bad of a choice it is. Especially uh, even if you just play like 5 minutes to get to the first town and you find out the first gym leader is flying, that's your first indication that Chikorita is a bad choice. And then the second gym is Bugsy, who has a Scyther that spams Fury Cutter, I think. And I did beat both of those gym leaders with my Bayleaf, but it's just a bad starter, and its design is really simplistic. Just like Generation Two as a whole, I think was pretty simplistic, and I really like that. It's not great, and that's really all I have to say. So I put that in C tier. I only have one Pokemon in D tier, and that's Samurott. The only Gen 5 Pokemon I love is Serperior and Galvantula. Like those are the only Pokemon I love. Uh, all the other ones are okay at best or bad, and I don't think Samurott is bad. But when we're talking about comparing it to other starters, it's definitely bad. I don't enjoy it. It's not particularly strong or weak. Its design is okay, but it's definitely not as good as all the other starters, with the exception of the ones I have left, who are all F tier. I'm still gonna go in order though. Chestnut, and then Delphox, and Emboar is last. Uh, Chestnut and Delphox are at the bottom because Greninja is so clearly the obvious choice. He is so overpowered, like you have to choose Froakie. I chose Chespin though because I pandered to grass types. I like grass types more than the other types, a couple exceptions. There's a couple times where I like the fire type more, and you can see that in my double S tier. but I like grass types, so I chose Chespin because he was the grass type, and I thought he would be good. Um, and he wasn't. Chestnut is bad. Delphox is even worse. And it's just the balancing between the starters and, how it feels gameplay wise to progress through the game. Chestnut and Delphox are just bad, and like they're just terrible. And I hate Gen 6, so they're definitely going into F tier. It was tempting to put Greninja like super low, but Greninja's in Smash, and he's kind of cool there. And I can't deny that he is a cool Pokemon, so he's at B tier. But all the other ones are F tier. That's easy. And Embor, it, people like Shofu. I'll reference him again. He put Embor at the very bottom as well, because Embor is just horrible in design and just everything. We didn't need another firefighting type. We had firefighting in Gen 3, and then Gen 4, and then again in Gen 5, except Embor is just worse than all the other firefighting types that have come before it. So he got like double whammied with the we don't need another firefighting type, and his design is worse. So, and plus it didn't help that he came out in Gen 5 where people were talking about them running out of ideas or whatever. But Embor is easily the last, easily the worst starter, in my opinion. And that's everything. I don't really have anything else to say about this. If you like this video, feel free to like it. If you disliked it, feel free to dislike it. Comment below with how you would change it or what your opinion is. I'd like to hear it. Maybe you have something I didn't consider, but I rated this tier list based on nostalgia, their designs, their power levels, and whether or not I would choose the starter over the other. So like after I designed it, with what designs and stuff, and then by power levels, I was like, would I choose, like for instance, Mudkip over Piplup, to choose from the S tier, and I said I would choose Piplup, and it's like, okay, now that Piplup is one, would I choose Piplup or Trico? I would still choose Piplup. Would I choose Piplup or Turtwig? I would still choose Piplup, and that's kind of how I did it. And then after I established what's first, I did that same thing with what was second, and so on and so on. So I thought a lot about this. And if you want to watch me, do Let's Plays or speedruns, follow me on twitch.tv/thewarlordshogun. And make sure that you're subscribed and have the bell button on to be notified when I post future videos. I'll be posting more Pokemon content because I'm a Pokemon super fan, and I post my streams from Twitch so that in case you missed the stream, you can still watch it. And I'd like to get people interested in my live streams because I'm definitely going to do more of them in the future. I plan on streaming Mario Maker 2 when that comes out. I'm going to stream Sword and Shield when that comes out. And I'm planning on streaming Pokemon Uranium pretty soon. I still have to finish my streaming of Dark Souls 2 and 3. I might stream the other Dark Souls type series because I love Dark Souls. I think it's awesome. So follow me if you're interested. That's all I have to say. Have a good day.